All right, we can start. So thank you everyone for joining in this webinar. My name is Ankita and I'm the regional manager for Africa and Frappe. I look actively into business and marketing enablements for the community in Frappe. So in today's session, we have Mr. Ramakrishnan Nataraj joining us from Frutterlabs. Let me give you a bit background about him. Mr. Ramakrishnan is the CTO at Frutterlabs and bringing over 7 years of experience in ERPNext implementation and Frappe consulting. He has led around 150 plus digital transformation projects in India and UAE, and around 70 plus cybersecurity consulting projects in India. So additionally to this, he has conducted around 40 plus cybersecurity training workshops in India and Singapore. So we thank him for taking this session, and it would be really wonderful if you can introduce yourself, Ramakrishnan, before we start the session.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Ankit. So basically about us, we are into a complete digital transformation company and majorly focusing on implementing ERPNext for mostly for the manufacturing and service sectors. So one of the key area we focused from past 1 year is like just implementing for a professional services, especially for the CS and all. So that's what our current background and all. And so about our company, so we are completely into IT consulting and digital transformation. So instead of like implementing a ERP solution, we are providing the end-to-end solution for companies to transform their manual process to automated process through technology. So obviously through the ERPNext. So this is about our background and all.
Great. Thank you so much, Ramakrishnan. So we'll start the session. Since we cannot run a complete introduction session, it would be really wonderful to if all the attendees can introduce themselves in the chat box. Let me just enable the chat box so you can introduce yourself in the chat box. So it's enabled. Now you can just give your introductions in the chat box. Moreover, in case you have any queries, please share your queries in the chat box itself so that we can answer them in the Q&A session, which will be at the end of the session, or we might take it in between of the sessions as well. So let's start. So over to you, Ramakrishnan, so we can start the session now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Hope you can share your screen.
Yeah, just a second.
Just give us a minute. I think he's having some bandwidth issues in his internet. Just give us a minute.
So actually, I'm not able to share my screen.
Just check now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. So just I'll start with a small introduction about the ERPNext and our company. So basically, as I told, we are into a complete digital transformation and consulting part. So our solution would be like just not implementing a ERP software for a company. So from transforming their complete manual process, what are the things they are doing manually through paper and pen or Excel, what are the software, or in case if they are using any scattered software and all. So we will consolidate all the things and we will make it as a complete process and we will implement for any kind of business. Mostly we are focusing on manufacturing and professional services. So just a bit introduction about ERPNext. Our core focused modules are basically the accounting management. So that's very important thing in ERPNext. So like we can able to implement in different kind of possibilities in all the aspects, like multi-company setup, multiple branches. So we have accounting dimensions, cost centers. So these are the major advantages of ERPNext accounting module and the inventory. So basically, in an audit perspective or in a company's perspective, so we used to manage the inventory and accounting in a very efficient way. So like our perpetual inventory system is working in a very awesome way to manage everything in a very synchronous ways. Like your accounts, books, and inventory will be always in the sync. And of course, the manufacturing part. So the entire manufacturing part is like completely integrated with the finance and accounts modules and inventory. So whatever the raw material or the products, everything is coming in and going out, everything can be tracked in a very perfect way through chart of accounts, ledgers, everything and all. And the HRMS and payroll process. So this also a part of, so nowadays the HR and payroll was took out from the ERPNext, but still it's a one of the core application in ERPNext. So like what are the payroll we are processing, we can directly sync with the accounts, and whatever the expenses, reimbursements, everything can be directly posted into the accounts and all. So this makes the complete end-to-end process. We can able to make the end-to-end process in a very seamless way. And that CRM and project management module. So one of the biggest advantage of project management module is to link everything in a single project. So let's say, for example, we leverage this project module for a CF firm. Just I'll show how we made that in the demonstration. So we leverage the project management module to manage their manage the customers the process. They used to have a different kind of process like IT filing, GST filing monthly basis. IT filing will be in the yearly ones, and other compliance parts. Everything will be managed through the project management module, and everything will be accounted with the help of project module. So they can able to track each and every customer's income and whatever the expenses are doing against the customer and all can be tracked in a very efficient way. And so why we need the ERP systems for in a CA perspective? So like basically if we take the chartered accounts and chartered accountant firms and all, majorly handling with the tally only. So that's tally having its own advantages and all, and of course ERPNext also have its own advantages. Like we can able to map the process. I mean, whatever the sales, purchase, everything will be integrated in the same system, and the journals, everything, all the expenses, everything will be maintained in a single system, and we can able to maintain a single books of accounts in a very efficient way. And for the compliances and accuracy, of course, so we have a lot of compliance related things, especially the audit trials and GST compliance parts and all. So everything will be seamlessly helpful to improve their process, and they can able to automate a lot of process over here. And the reporting part. So of course, everyone know that the ERPNext reporting is it's almost like we can able to generate any kind of report from anywhere. So from simplified report builder or query builder, or we can able to through scripting, we can able to generate any kind of reports on like on-demand reports, everything. And so few key features we can highlight for the financial people. So like accounting module. So basically, if we take the accounting module, just I'll take you through the direct demonstration so that I can able to show the things in a very effective way. So basically, if we take the accounts module in our ERPNext, it's covered with the basic chart of accounts. So a completely customizable chart of accounts, even the numbering system also possible because nowadays all the big companies always used to have the numbering based accounting system. So that's one of the biggest advantages in chart of accounts. So that has to be set up at the time of site setup. So this is the very basic. This is a very basic thing in ERPNext, like the customizable chart of accounts. So most of the time we are migrating from Tally to ERPNext or any other financial system to ERPNext. Of course, we are having a very open kind of customized things to create our own chart of accounts. And other rest of the advantages are like we can able to manage the accounting dimensions. So accounting dimensions are used to play very crucial role, like accounting dimensions, finance, books. These all this will be very helpful to maintain the compliance part, everything in a very efficient way. And one of the biggest advantages of the budgeting model. So budgeting, so far we have implemented budgeting for a few companies, especially for the manufacturing companies and all. We can able to set up the budget in two different ways, against the cost centers or against a particular project. So what's the advantages of keeping a budget against the projects? It's very simple. We can able to control the expenses against that project. So every time we are having a budget, so this has to be an entire company budget and as well as the project budget. So especially for this for the CFO, so what we did was like we created a project. So for each customer will be mapped with the projects, and the projects will have the tasks and subtasks. So it's very simple that. So I'm just going to create a project just for the demonstration. So we can set up a template for these projects, everything and all. So we can simply create a tasks for so GST filing. So we can make this as a recursive tasks, and we can able to track this in every month. So like GST filing is a process. It consists of two GST 1 and 3B. So on that every month on that particular date, the task will be automatically pop up to the mapped users, and this will be automatically the user can take the task and they can run the timesheet against the task and they'll complete the task. So this is a very efficient way to manage the complete end-to-end the process in the CFM, and we have automated in such way. So, and another advantage, as I told, the budget is like, so I can able to set a budget against this particular project. So instead of a cost center, I can set up a budget for the current financial year. So if I want, I can able to so if I want, I can distribute in a monthly way, or I can set up into a single one. So for example, administrative expenses should not exceed. So one of the important thing is that there are travel expense for the CS. So basically what they have to do is for the internal auditing and for the different purpose, they used to travel to the customer places and all. So these all can be tracked, and this all can be controlled over the budgeting process. So now they can able to register expenses against a particular project. For example, I can able to make a sales order for this particular customer. So whenever we make this, so automatically this, sorry. So whenever we are creating a sales order, so we can directly map against a project. So automatically this will be linked with the project. So we can able to track this in a very easy way, like whether the customer paid or not, whether the invoice is created or not. So like what we can do is like we can just create a simple dashboard for the particular customer and particular project. So these everything can be tracked in a very seamless way. So and about the tasks and priority settings and all. So every month the GST filing date will be different out. So we can set up a simple process like a master. So every month at the time of generating, so the system can be done. So just we need to set the date of the filing dates. So simply we can set the filing dates, and all the tasks and subtasks will be created against a project. So all the tasks and subtasks will be uh, tracked against the projects, and we can also give a portal to the customers. So one of the advantages of our ERPNext, the inbuilt customer portal and the supplier portal. So customer can easily track their progress, like which task the particular time running on. So let's say, for example, everyone know that the month of 10th will be 10 or 11 will be the GSTR1 filing date. So customer can able to easily track that whether task is done or not. So because the one thing usually used to measure with this time is like they used to forget filing, they used to miss, maybe because of some other reasons, maybe they used to miss the OTPs and all everything. And apart from that, we can also so we used the Frappe drive. So using Frappe drive, what we did was like we stored their entire filing systems. And also previously they used Microsoft SharePoint. So initially we gave a link to the Microsoft SharePoint, so they can upload all the customer, the client files, everything into the Microsoft SharePoint and the link. So recently we have migrated to a Frappe drive. So simply they can able to tag all the files against the particular customer in the single Frappe drive folder against the particular customer. So it's very easy to track their entire filing system. So once the filing is done, the acknowledgements, receipts, whatever things they used to upload in that particular drive, and they'll share with the customer. So this will create a more transparency with the clients and all. So like we did for CF firm having a customers of 2,500 plus clients for them. So this is a kind of a very the complex process to manage for all the customers. They used to maintain transparency, and they used to maintain a lot of informations like their files, whatever the files they are sharing with them. So they used to receive, and again they have to return back to them. So for that, we set up something called file management. So simply whenever the particular client sent a file to the office, so they'll receive with a signature, with this inbuilt in the Frappe framework itself. So after receiving it, so if they want to return that particular file, so they'll just set the due date. So on the due date, automatically the system will trigger a SMS and an email to the particular client that so the document is ready. So you can collect at the office on the time, from this time, like that. So we can send. And also for the financing part, and also we have a lot of integrations are available, like the banking integrations and the payment gateway integrations. So the payment gateway integration was like one of the best part. Like whenever we made a payment request, so automatically it will send a link to the particular customer, and every month it's a kind of a recursive process. So like whenever they completed the IT filing, the system will automatically generate a sales order, and it will send a payment request to the particular customer. So once the customers made the payment, so after the receipt of payment, the system will automatically generate a sales invoice against that sales order, and the accounting parts will be done. So this process initially we try to make with sales invoice and send a payment request. So unfortunately, a lot of time the payment link was expired, or client missed to pay on time. So this may get delayed and all. So to avoid this process, we just slightly modified the process, and we have implemented for the we implemented from the sales orders. And apart from this, the very critical information about the customers, like their digital keys, digital signatures, and their OTP information, everything will be stored in a very secure way in that. And for them, so since they are into very critical process and all, we have hosted with on-premises servers. So like this is how the entire the journey of the ERPNext implementation done for one CFO. So these are the very I mean the various advantages are available for the CA firms and all. So I'm about the biggest advantages of having a GST filing part and all. So basically, the we call it as a GST India or India compliance part. So in the India compliance part, automatically all the e-way bill invoice will be generated. So in case of if they are into trading or commodities or manufacturing kind of business, automatically the e-way will be generated from the sales invoice, and the IRN will be generated for the e-invoicing from the sales invoice itself. So we can simply go to the GST module and we can generate a GST report on every month. Sorry. So we can directly file that. So we can download it as a Excel, or we can directly download as a JSON file, and we can upload into the GST portal, and this will be done. So it's like kind of a very simplified way we can able to file the GST part and all. And for the GST 3B, so automatically we can able to generate a 3B reports and the purchase reconciliation tool. So usually this is the most complex part the company used to have, because whenever the company made a purchase, so they have to check whether the counterparty was filed the GST or not. Like, because sometimes the companies will have the 3 months plan. So every quarter only they used to file the GST and all, or sometimes they used to miss. They used to file in the next month. So it's very difficult to track the counterparty's invoices in the portal now. So like using the purchase reconciliation tool, so we can able to automate this in a very simplified way. Like just we can able to see how much invoices were reconciled or not, like that. So we can able to take the summary in a very easy way. So like the entire APIs, everything will be inbuilt through just we need to enable it in our GST portal, and we have to enable in the GST settings. So that's it. So like this for current scenario, I'm just taking a case study for a case study of the implementation for two different companies. One for one manufacturing company. So they used to initially they have completely managed all the process through Excel. So that company was into overseas. So due to the India and all, and we are not able to unveil the name of the customer. So basically what they are into was they are into a product manufacturing company. So they used to procure a raw material from a different locations. So like sometimes from local vendors, sometimes from the bulk process. So like the purchase process is the completely it's a day-to-day based purchase process. They used to purchase in a sometimes in a bulk way, sometimes in a very chunky way, like small part they used to purchase, and they used to store in a they used to store in their warehouses. So whenever they made a purchase, so they used to maintain a lot of things. So like the source of the particular raw material, and who gave that, because most of the time all the raw material will be combined by a single person, and they used to take it, but still have to we need to track from which particular person the raw material came from. So on that scenario, what we did was like, so we have split, we have made the purchase process in a very different level. At the time of purchase itself, we categorize the raw materials, the grades and the quality of raw materials, everything in a purchase itself. So for that, we just simply put additional doc type before the purchase invoice, and we have collected all these information. So based on the supplier and the raw material quality and the raw material, the grade and all, so automatically the system will generate a multiple invoices against the single supplier, because same supplier can able to same supplier will provide a different kind of raw material and a different grade, everything and all. So on that process, we took that into a complete a single process, and from there we took into a warehouse. So basically, this process was a complete manual process. Initially, what they did was like they used to take it as a pen and paper, they write down all the informations and all, and they come back to the system and they'll enter in the Excel. So after entering into it, and they'll calculate the how much they want to pay for the supplier and all. So it take usually whenever they made a purchase today, so the payment will be done after 3 days only. So like this improved, like, so whenever they made a purchase, so immediately all the informations will be updated in the system. So after that, uh, immediately the payment advice will be generated. So like the purchase invoice will be generated. So automatically whoever supplied this particular raw material, or the single person who consolidated all those things, so they'll receive a payment and they'll make the signature, everything. So all the process will be done and they move to the things. So from this till the end of the manufacturing process, so we have automated in a streamlined way. So like all the inventories and their supplies, uh, their manufacturing process, the entire end-to-end manufacturing process was completely managed through the ERPNext system. And few important things we need to understand, understand that what are the benefits of using a ERPNext system for the CS. So like it's a very important to understand that the productivity. So in a very simple way, if you are using a scattered system, and if you are tracking everything in a manual process, even though if you're having a system, and let's say, for example, the task will be maintained in a separate system or in a Excel, and the invoices will be maintained in a separate billing software or a tally, or any kind of a separate system and all. So this will this will reduce our productivity, and also this is not an integrated system, so we can't track anything. So we won't have any kind of a traceability over here. So the main advantages of ERPNext is to have that traceability for whatever the things we did. Let's say, for example, the scenario of a CFM. So they can able to easily track down when the task was done, who done the task, and so let's consider the GSTR filing. So who filed that GST invoice and what are the information they uploaded. So everything will be stored in the task. So against the task only that the billing will be processed. So it's very easy to provide a statement for the customer, and even for managing those end-to-end process and all, and the data accuracy. Of course, so like managing in a automated way will improve the data accuracy, because like whenever the task is completed, so they have a set of pricing rule for the particular customers, because some customers have a different pricing. So consider one customer is providing some 20,000 invoices per month, so definitely they have a different pricing slab, maybe invoice based pricing slab or some lump sum pricing slab. So based on that scenario, automatically billing has to be happen. So the pricing role plays a very vital role to achieve these kind of rule based pricing and all. So that's come to, of course, we can able to manage everything in a very accurate way, and the real time insights. So whenever the transaction are happening in the system, so immediately we can able to get the reports. So like we can able to we everyone know that the outstanding is the very crucial part in the system. So basically we have accounts receivable and payable summary. So in a very simple way, in accounts receivable summary, we can able to see how much the payment was pending in the past 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or 120 days. And this is completely dynamic one. Let's say instead of 30 days, if I want to see for 10 days and 30 days and 60 days, means of course this is completely dynamic one. We can able to just change the metrics, and we can able to generate a report. And so in a very simple automated way, so whenever the overdue comes, immediately it has to send a payment request to the customer, or after 10 days, after 20 days. So like we can set up a trigger kind of, we can set up a trigger, and automatically we can send an email to the customers for the payment request. And few challenges. So in our recent times, it's not only for a particular organization, if it is a service or a service industry or a manufacturing industry. So few common challenges we recently faced up, and so we have some a solution. It's not a big one and all. It's a very small practical scenarios and all. So the common challenges would be like usually in the data migration, the user resistance. Usually the people, those who are handling the existing system, must be comfortable with their existing system. Let's say, for example, the manufacturing sector. So the production manager would be comfortable with the Excel or their existing system. So they definitely resist to migrate to a new system. And in some places, we are dealing with the complex customizations, so that should be avoided. And the integrations. So of course, in most of the places, the common integration was the biometric integration. And of course, in the manufacturing, there are a lot of machineries we need to integrate with our ERPNext system for the data, especially the workstations and the operations data, everything and all. So we can easily overcome these challenges and all, which in a very simple way. Like, so first thing, we have to set up a very clear objective and scope for what we have to do and when it has to do. So let's say, for example, the data migration part. So we have to understand, we have to clearly discuss with the customers, and we need to define what are the things we are going to migrate and what are the things we are going to skip. Let's say, for example, they are having a 10 years of data in a pen and paper. So if they want to migrate entire to the system, maybe within a 6 months or 1 year, definitely it's a big process, and it has to be very planned in a very proper way. And even if they're having anything in the legacy system, so we have to understand how much difficult to convert from the legacy system to the ERP system and all. And of course, the strong leadership and support plays a very important role to have a successful implementation and adoption of the ERP software. Because in our experience, almost like 20% or at least 15 to 20% of the customer will get the software, and we are forcing them to use the software. So like, why you are not using the software? So like that. So this is very important in ERP implementation. So we have to understood these process, and we need to identify this, and we have to plan for a proper planning for the implementation. Of course, this comes to the change management. So this change management is a very important process in every implementation, and the user involvement and training. So we have to be in a very clear uh, set of training documentation and the planning for the users. Let's say, for example, uh, basically we need to provide a training for each and every modules for their users. So this has to be very clear for the particular user. We should not overwhelming them to show all the entire system, and so they'll get confused. Okay, this much things I have to do, like that. So in that scenario, so we have to simply keep that. Let's say, consider a purchase module. So we have to show only the buying module, and we have to explain. So these are the things you have to do. So in a very clear way, so the user can easily understand and adopt the system in a very simpler way. And the phase-based implementation. So usually the phase-based implementation give a very good success ratio, because in a very simple way, if we take implementing entire system in a single shot, definitely it's very difficult, because the company has to understand, and they have to plan their entire operation process in a very efficient way. So like this phase-based implementation will reduce the complexities. So let's say, for example, so initially in the first, they have to go with the finance module, and from followed by asset, inventory, and manufacturing, HRMS, payroll. So like that. So we have to split the implementation into phases, and then we have to proceed for the implementation. So this will give a more clarity to the customers and us as well. So what are the things we have to done, and so we can set up clear timeline for the complete implementation and the monitoring and feedback. So this after implementation, so we have to monitor the clients in a very aggressive way, like because I already told, like 15 to 20% of the customer is not using the system in a very efficient way because of uh, the resistance, and they may not know the futures. We trained them, but they missed out that particular future and they're doing manually. So these are the continuous monitoring thing will definitely help to overcome the challenges at the time of implementation. So, and so there are a lot of future things about the ERP, and also simply so already we are dealing with the so machine learning, of course, this will help a lot to automate a lot of process. Let's say, for example, if we take the purchase process, so this can be automated. So currently in ERPNext, we are not having a AI, but still, let's say, for example, whenever the stock goes down in a particular warehouse, automatically we can make a material request, and we can send a even we can send a purchase request to the particular customer. So these kind of automation thing will uh, required in a very high level, and Internet of Thing integration. So basically, in the most of the manufacturing sector, all the device, all the machineries are IoT based. So we can able to track their system in a very efficient way. So one of our recent implementation for one uh, interior designing company. So they used to manufacture the CNC machine, the cutting machine, everything is a automated one. So whenever they send a design from the design software to the system will automatically take the inputs and system will start working on that. So on that place, what we did was like we just integrated with our ERPNext system. So every time the workstation gets started, so once the job card is created, so whenever the particular job code, so just we need to input which job code is for the which job or like that. So we just need some crossing integrations. So once we did that, so automatically the system will manage. The user no need to go to the job code and they have to start the job code and start the timesheet and stop the timesheet and all. So these will be completely we can able to avoid. And the futuristic system, so the cloud-based, of course, the cloud-based systems are in the most adaptive way. So like we can able to have the system at any time, any places, whatever the reports we want. So we can able to track it at any places, and the user experience and mobile friendly. So like, so these are the very important things in the future trends and the adaptability. So basically the future system of the ERPs would be like the complete adoption. So how so whenever we are planning for implementing a ERP system, of course we have to think about the future trends, what are the upcoming things are involving in this, and what are the things we need to automate. And very important thing, so we need to understand what are the things we need to automate and what are the things we should not automate. So that's one of the very critical thing in the ERP implementation process. It's not only for the ERPNext implementation in general. So we have to understand the process. So definitely we need a kind of a standard procedures, the process, everything for ERP implementation. So if we think about the ERP implementation, we have to think about three things: people, process, and the tool. So this is the very important thing. So we need to understand. And so like, so if you have any queries or anything, so you can share, or we can.
You can just unmute yourself and ask the queries.
Okay. Hi. Am I audible?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Ramakrishnan. So I have few questions. Firstly, in regards to the manufacturing company that you said, you've been implementing, services, ERP Next. So
Yeah.
I want to understand that, number one, there are two questions basically. One, whether it could be done remotely, And secondly, yeah, you can answer that first, then we can, I will ask the second question.
Yeah, sure, sure. So remotely means, I mean, the implementation you are asking for, right?
Yes, yes.
Ah, yes, of course. So basically the remote, so most of the implementation is almost 50% of the implementation is completely going through through remote only. So for overseas customers and all, so we are supporting even the entire implementation training, everything is done through in the remote only. So in case on demand, if the physical visit is required, definitely we have to go for that. So that we can't avoid on those situations. But of course, the complete remote implementation is definitely possible.
Right. And before I come to the second question, in terms of support, right?
Ah,
Because there is a lot of challenges when we have done in terms of implementation. The support
yeah,
is a very crucial part, right? Because
yes,
once
of
you
course.
implement the procedure, that's the half task done. Now the difficult part is that every day when you use the product, there would be a lot of challenges. So how do you guys support that support phase?
So basically, what we did was like, so we have created our own. So basically, we are using a help desk. I mean, the Frappe's help desk as a support portal. So what we did was like, we just created one application in Frappe itself, and we installed on the customer's application. So they can simply go to the help button. So they can click create ticket. So whatever they want, the issues they are facing in the module, if case any errors they are facing, they can take just a screenshot, or they can record, or they can type and create a ticket. Automatically the ticket will come to us. So we integrated Exotel, the same with the ERP system. So if they are directly calling our support team, so they are directly taking calls, and we are jumping into their system, and we are helping them out. So basically we have a separate support team, and for few customers we are having a dedicated support team only for working for them, and for general we have a common support team. So that's, you are correct. The support is the very important part in the ERP implementation. So post implementation, definitely we need to provide the proper support. So for our experience, we have reduced the ticket size. I mean, the ticketing counts from. So usually after implementation, definitely for a month, definitely we'll have a high volume tickets.
Okay, for a month it is high volume together. And just to a follow up question on that, from your
Yeah.
experience, that what are the challenges that you see in the implementation from the support side, right? What are those type of questions if you could bucket it down to top 2 to 3 types?
Mostly the user permissions. So like, uh, so most of the implementation, we used to configure the user permissions for them by getting their inputs on hold. So on that time, they used to take they won't have a proper planning for their roles. Even that
Mm,
they didn't
mm.
have a proper roles and all. So they give that, okay, I have a sales manager, I have a purchase manager, like that and all. So they'll ask for the permissions. So we will create some custom roles. So mostly we won't do that, but in some scenarios, definitely we have to create some custom roles and all. So on the time, some permissions issues arise, and sometimes the warning messages and the error messages. So they used to confuse in initial phase. Like at the time of a training, they won't face any kind of struggles. So at
Yeah,
the time of practices, they might come up with some warnings and messages and all. So mostly the tickets will be fall on these two areas across all the modules.
perfect. So my last question, Ramakrishnan, is about the roadmap. Like,
Okay.
so for a company who has around about 50 employees, right,
Okay.
and a manufacturing process, right,
Okay.
of pickles or something, means with a turnover of around about 50 crores or
Okay.
something. Just trying to give you some numbers so that you
Hmm.
can analyze.
Understood.
What do you think that is the typical roadmap in terms of the entire implementation? Because I heard that you said that it could be done in phase wise, but then
Yes, of course. Yeah.
what is the roadmap in terms of turnaround time that you see?
So basically, if I ask, not only for that kind of big company, even if we take, we have to. So minimum we need 3 months to implement ERP next. So let's say for example, even if it's a vanilla implementation, so minimum we have to go with the 3 months. So in that 3 months, we have to split into every modules as a separate one. So we have to concentrate on based on the priority. So which one? So usually, so far our experience, either HRMS or the finance module comes to the high priority, because if they have some robust HRMS system, or if they have some robust finance system, so they used to, whatever the things working in a very proper way, they used to move first. So then later they used to expand. So usually the purchase process would be like they used to keep it in a very separated way, like they use Excel or some different tools to manage all the purchase process and all. So those will be taken as a second, the next priority and all. And we have to set a sequence for this. Let's say, for example, even if they say we need to start the manufacturing first, without without buying process, without inventory, without asset, we can't able to set up a manufacturing process. So
Correct.
these are the things we need to plan in a very proper way. And of course, the requirements. So we have to get the requirements in a very proper way, and we have to discuss with the customer and understand whether they need that or not. Like the customer can ask any kind of a feature that might not be a standard one. Uh, that might create much complexity in the entire process. So we have to understand the things in a very clear way, the requirements, and we have to agree with the customer, and then we have to go for the implementation.
Right. So planning is the key, right?
Yes, of course. So very important. And for the phase by phase, the basic phase, we used to start with the vanilla only. So in the initial phase, we won't touch any customization. We will start with the vanilla. And after implementing a vanilla only, we'll go for the customization. That maybe even a small customization, maybe some custom scripts or some validation, whatever the things. So we will plan this. So consider accounts module. So we'll finish the accounts module, and then we will start the accounting customization.
Understood. So if I have some time, can I ask a few more questions? Because if there are no other people waiting in the queue.
Yeah, I think only one.
Hello.
Okay, you can go ahead. If there is time, I'll come back.
Yeah,
No
sure.
issues.
Hi, Ramkrishna.
Yeah, hi, hi.
I have one question. When we support any provide the client at that time, WhatsApp integration is possible in
Yes,
ERP?
yes, of course. Actually, we built a small web WhatsApp in our ERPNext system itself. Like even the user can able to directly chat with the customer from ERPNext system. I mean, instead of web WhatsApp, you can
Yeah,
able
yeah.
from the ERPNext system itself.
Okay, okay, okay.
uh,
Um,
we can able to insert any process. Let's say you want to send a quotation or a sales invoice, whatever things you want, just we need to plug it. That's it. So just we need to enable, and we need to plug it. Automatically this will go. And whatever the conversation they are doing, so they can directly send and receive messages, files, everything through Frappe, I mean ERP system itself.
okay, got it. Now, my next question regarding HRMS,
Okay.
built-in provide a income tax report like a Form 16.
Yes, yes, we have a report for Form 16. So we have to set up in a very clear way. We can generate a Form 16 report. So we won't get a Form 16 as separate for individual employee wise, but we have a Form 16 report, tax computation report. The report name is called tax computation report.
Tax computation report, right? Okay, got it. Thank you.
Hi, Ramakrishna.
Yeah,
Can
hi.
I raise my question?
Yeah, please, please.
We are setting up a new plastic extrusion plant. So uh, right now, it's not yet commissioned, and it will be commissioned, say, somewhere in November.
Okay.
So is it better that we start the process of implementing ERP just now before the installation? Because many of the processes we are not aware, no, as in
Yes,
how
of
the
course.
things, information will flow after
Yes,
the.
yes.
So
Uh,
how should we go ahead in that way?
Yeah, actually, I told, I mean, in between, I told about one interior designing company. So, why, like, they're having the entire system that recently they have commissioned. So, before buying the machine itself, they started the ERP. So, it's like kind of a 6 months process, 6 months. No, it's not 6 months. It's extended to 9 months project. So, like,
Okay.
initially, they started with their the basic things, their finance things, the purchases, everything. They have set up everything. So the purchase process, everything they have accounted in a very proper way. After that,
Okay.
they have commission. commission the
Okay.
machineries and all. At the time of commissioning itself, we worked on the integration part. So we worked with their machine. So all the machineries are they imported from Italy. So like we took all the APIs, everything and all. We have integrated directly to their system. So from their designing software as well as from the machineries. So basically, when after creating a designing, I mean after completing the designing software will give a bill of material. So because you know that for every customer, they used to have a different kind of a process. They need a different item. They used to manufacture. So whenever the design completes, automatically the system will generate a bill of, I mean, the design software will send a data to the ERPNext system and it will generate a bill of material. So from there, automatically the entire process will move on. So once they start the machinery in the particular job code, so we used to set the routes, everything and all. So automatically the data will be captured from the machinery to the system. So like this in a parallel way, if we do it, so we can able to do it in a very without the complexity.
Okay. There are a few other questions also, like we
Yeah.
are setting up a new laboratory also in the plant, right?
Okay.
So, and say if whatever we are producing, and if we put a batch system in our finished good, so is there any system in ERPNext that we can record our lab findings batch wise?
Yes, of course. Currently, there is no direct things available. So we can use the quality inspection is currently available for the lab things and all. For the manufacturing labs, we can able to build it. So like so that we have
So,
to plan in a very proper way. So like based
so
on need.
even the quality check report, if I'm
Yes, quality check
if
report
I'm
we can able to we have a quality.
so how exhaustive it is, we can integrate many things in that. Say if we
Yeah,
have
of
10
course. We can create any kind of a template and we can set a criteria and we can simply record everything.
Okay. And can we integrate Weybridge with the
Yes, of
system?
course. Yes, of course. Yes. Weighing machine,
Okay.
weighbridge. So we can take the whenever you go for the weighting, so we have to get the data from the weighbridge. That's definitely possible.
Okay. And regarding export orders, what happened? There are a lot of processes in export, like
Right.
from after once we place the orders with the shipping line, there's a carton application to be made. Then there's a commercial invoice to be generated. A tax invoice has to be generated.
Exactly.
Commercial invoice is something which doesn't stay in India; it goes outside, so it has some different informations rather than what it is there in tax invoices.
Yes.
So all those things can be customized there and not.
Yes. Possible. So by default, import term is available in the system, and for the import export and all, of course, like for the one manufacturing company, we did. So they used to export the export whatever that they produce. So only they used to export in a bulk way. So like they can able to track their containers, their the shipping bags, everything they can able to track and they can generate whatever the reports they want. So they can attach along with the sales invoice. We can able to track it everything.
So in this implementation process, who will set the pattern of information flow? No, in terms of that how the information is going to flow. Say a truck is coming inside the factory, then it is going for a weigh bridge, then it is going for a quality check, then unloading, then a contracted labor has done the unloading, or maybe the factory's in-house labor has done the unloading. So this flow of information, I know it, but when
Yes.
when it comes to implementing and hiring an implementation partner, so
Right.
you'll be able to involve up till that level that you'll
Yes, of
design
course.
that flow of information.
Definitely we need. So we need to know who is going to handle either the warehouse person or we are having a separate person for just managing logistics parts alone and how much data they are going to. So in case of the data input. So especially for the manufacturing, we for so many customers, the production managers or the people, they work for some 20 to 25 years for them. They won't even know how to operate the system and all. So on that scenario, so we have it's some kind of a simplified way to get the data into, and we can able to enter the data into the system. So that we have to work out and we have to streamline those process and all. Definitely that has to be we have to consider in a very proper way.
So implementing ERP in a new factory is going to be a bit easier than the
Yes,
old
of course.
factory.
Instead of existing, because we need to
There's no migration.
yes, of course. The migration part is we have to plan in a very proper way, or otherwise the migration part will create more time. It's actually a time consuming work.
Okay, fair enough. What is your company's name?
Frutterlabs Software Labs Private Limited.
Feder.
Frutter, Frutter. So I'm just putting in chat.
And you all are based in Hyderabad.
No, actually, we are based out of Coimbatore.
Okay. So during implementation, what is the schedule? As in, you all visit the client's place, or how it is?
Yes, of course. We used to visit the customer place.
And then you go back and then prepare the things, and then again it is
Yes, of
made
course.
live.
Yes, we do.
And what happens if there's no internet and we are offline? So
No, in case of offline, definitely internet is the very
it's
important part.
not going to work.
Like we can go for the on-premises setup, because in some region, especially in not in the Middle East region and all, somewhere in Nairobi and not Nairobi. I didn't remember the but exact location
Okay.
nearby. Kenya, I think. So
Okay.
for one rice mill, we have implemented through on-premises only. So it's we took someone over there, one consultant. So we associated with them and we did the implementation. So completely it's on-premises implementation.
So what do you mean by on-premises?
I think Praveen, sorry to interrupt, but I think maybe we can take this separately.
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I'm
can
so
have
sorry.
we can have a one-on-one discussion. Maybe Ramakrishnan, you can just share your email ID in the chat box.
Yeah, sure.
And Praveen, you can also share your email ID in the
I'll
chat
do
box.
that. I'll do that.
So that we can connect and we can take this discussion forward.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sorry for taking too much time.
No, not a problem. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, I just have one last question
Sure,
regarding
sure.
insights. So Ramakrishnan,
Yeah.
can I ask?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, insights is fantastic in terms of, getting all the dashboards and reports, right?
Yeah.
But then I just want to understand that whether the option of drill down is also available out there. For example, if I have, a data report, right? If I
Okay.
click on that, then I get to know the entire journal listing of the same as well. So that option of drill down is there in Power BI and all these business intelligence tools. Is it available in Insights as well?
So actually, there is a new version of Insight is about to release. I hope this month, Ankita. I hope this month will get released, right?
Version 3, right?
Yes, exactly. So we can expect such kind of feature in the new versions. So we saw some previews of the version 3. So that's coming up with a higher expectation. So
So,
most of things will can solve. I mean, what are the missing features in the current version will be addressed in the
so are
new
you saying
version.
right now that that's not available?
No, drill down reports, we have not generated any drill down reports. So we generated usually, we used to generate dashboards, much dashboards in the insights and all.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but the drill down report, mostly we used to generate the complete report on the ERP only. The script report, from the script report, we can able to generate a drill down report. So like the
Yeah.
financial statements, you can see that, right? So those kind of report. So usually what we used to do is if the dashboard is required, we'll go for the insights. If the report is required, we will stick with the Frappe itself.
Okay, okay, okay. So, Ankita, just one question. We are really excited about Insights version 3. Any idea on the update? When it's about to come out or something? If you can share.
Nitesh, I'm currently not aware that by when are we releasing it. Maybe I need to get back to you on that after discussing with the
No
product owner.
problem. No problem. No problem. Thank you so
But
much.
most probably by September when we have our conference is what I'm projecting, but I need to confirm that with our product owner.
No worries. No worries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Okay, since we don't have any other questions, we can actually, sorry, we can actually come to the conclusion of this webinar. Thank you, Ramakrishnan, for conducting this beautiful webinar. And thank you all for joining in as well. It has been quite an interactive sessions. In case you have any further questions also after the webinar, you can also reach out to us. Also, I'm just sharing with you a quick link to our feedback form in the chat box. So please do share us your valuable feedback so that it helps us to improve in our future public webinar events as well. And in case you are interested in any of our future events as well, you can just visit us on the frappe.io events page, and all the webinars which are scheduled for this month will be visible to you. So thank you everyone for joining in, and thank you Ramakrishnan for that wonderful presentation. It was
Thank you.
really insightful. Thank you
Yeah.
everyone.
So, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
good day, everyone.